Hi, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. If you're new to the channel, very warm welcome. My name is Mike Lewis and this is Ham Radio Vlog. I don't know if you're anything like me, but one of the things that I love about playing with amateur radio is all of the knobs and the buttons and the dials. The knobs and the dials and the switches. I love the analog meters and
the knobs and the buttons and the dials. I just love the
knobs, dials and the switches and all of that kind of stuff. And it's the appearance of amateur radios that I really like. So I thought I'd do you a quick video actually, just running through some of my favourite amateur radios. I'm sure you've got your favourites for your own reasons, so I'd love to read about those in the comments below. So anyway, I thought I'd do you this quick video and hope you enjoy it. So anyway, I've come up with this video and it literally is nothing more than my favourite list. By no means is it supposed to be a list of me saying these are the best radios. I've given you a few ideas why I think they're my favourites, and I'm sure you'll have your favourites as well. So I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to comment below and tell me what your favourites are and why they're your favourites. But anyway, to start with, let me just say this. Number one, they're in no particular order. They do tend to go by size, so starting off with the big kind of shack radios and going down to the more portable radios. I haven't included any handheld radios. What else? Please, if you're going to use this video in some way as a way of deciding what your next radio should be, please check your own facts, for the simple fact that my facts could be wrong, and I'd hate to be responsible for you going out and buying a radio and then finding out that it doesn't do something that I've said it does. So please just be aware that my facts may be a little bit wrong. I haven't included all of the radios out there. I've typically stayed within the realms of the kind of radios that I would buy. So I would tend to go for modern radios, so probably 20 years old or less. I've also tried to stay realistic within the kind of budget that I would expect to be able to spend on a radio. They go from probably £3,000 down to a few £100s, if not less actually. I haven't included all of the really sexy big radios, the FTDX9000s, the TS890s and 990s, and oh god, the Icom IC7300s and all that kind of stuff, because to me they're not the kind of radios that you would go out and buy every day of the week. The first radio, bang up to date, this is brand new. Yaesu launched this around about a year ago. It couldn't not be included because it is quite sexy. In the UK, brand new, these sell for around about £3,000. Second hand, you can pick them up now, even though they've only been launched less than a year, for about £2,500. The FTDX101D, depending on which version you go for, 100 or 200 watts, HF 6 meters only, all mode, built-in ATU, antenna tuner unit, band scope and waterfall, and the ability to have an external pan adapter. Beautiful radio, full size, okay, so you're looking at around about, I don't know, 18 inches to 24 inches wide, but it's a proper shack radio. Next, very similar radio by Icom, the Icom 7610. Beautiful radio, similar dimensions, similar characteristics. 100 watts, HF and 6 meters, all mode, built-in antenna tuner, band scope, waterfall, and the ability to have an external pan adapter. So very similar. Okay, this one goes back a fair few years actually. I think this is about 15-20 years old. Still very respected and admired, especially with contesters actually. The FT1000 by Yaesu, 100 or 200 watts, HF only, all mode shack radio. It's powered by 12 volts, however unlike all of the other radios, this one also can have an AC power supply built in. So literally no need for a power supply separate, just plug it straight into the wall. Automatic antenna tuner built in, and also you can get a pan adapter board for this. Bang up to date again, one of my most favourite radios. I owned one of these for not long enough in actual fact. The Yaesu FTDX3000, beautiful current radio. You can buy these now brand new, no problem. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, all mode, built-in antenna tuner, band scope, waterfall, and an external pan adapter. The beauty about the modern radios, as opposed to the older radios, is you tend to find USB connections on the back. So it's a lot easier to plug straight into your computer to do things like cat control, changing the bands, changing frequencies and all that kind of stuff. In addition to that, you can also use it for the digimodes. So it's very, very easy to use for things like PSK31, FT8 and all that kind of good stuff. So that's why I like the modern radios. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the older stuff, but this is where I am. Next, Kenwood TS2000. Brilliant radio. There are people out there that absolutely swear by these. I haven't used one very much, but the little bit of exposure that I have, I was super impressed. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, VHF 144 megahertz, UHF 430 megahertz, and also the option to have 1200 megahertz, okay? All mode and satellite capable, one of only a couple of radios on my list. And also you got the ability to control this via a remote head. So literally you can actually have this, I don't know, let's say on the floor down there, and then you can have a remote head up here. So yeah, quite unusual for a big shack radio, and an antenna tuner built in. The FT2000, very similar to the FT1000, 100 and 200 watts, HF, 6 meters, all mode, pan adapter, again needs a modification inside, but that's nothing special. From where I can remember, I don't think it's any soldering, to be honest. I think you just tap the IF and that gives you an output to go to some sort of RTL SDR dongle, SDR play, that kind of thing. Built-in antenna tuner, beautiful radio. This I think is probably well, in this list I think this is probably one of the best looking radios on this list. Next up, the baby brother of that. I owned one of these for a while and loved it to bits. Lots and lots of buttons and knobs and dials and stuff. The Yaesu FT950, fabulous radio. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, all mode, built-in antenna tuner, and again you can tap the IF to get a pan adapter, and you can pick these up very cost effectively. Kenwood TS590, brilliant radio. We are getting smaller now, so we're down to about this sort of size, which is about 12 inches-ish wide. Small enough to have in the car, big enough to have in the shack. It's a very nice mid-size radio. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, all mode, antenna tuner, pan adapter again needs an internal modification. Beautiful radio. Bang up to date again, Yaesu, the FT991, which was replaced about 2 years after it came out with the 991A. I've had a number of these and I've done a video on this particular radio, which I'll give you a link up here, basically entitled Love It or Hate It, because I have got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the 991. But you can't get away from the fact that it is an all-band, all-mode, shack-in-a-box, portable-ish radio at a very reasonable price, and it's a very capable box. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, VHF, UHF, all modes, USB port on the back for doing FT8 and all that kind of stuff, band scope, waterfall, antenna tuner. What more could you ask for? The Icom similar-ish radio is the Icom IC7300. It's similar-ish in the way that it doesn't do VHF and UHF, but similar size, similar band scope, all that kind of stuff. 100 watts, HF and 6 meters only. all mode, built-in antenna tuner. What more can you say? Beautiful radio, lovely, lovely clear screen. Okay, going back quite a few years now, this is probably one of the older radios on my list, but it needs to be on there because I think it's a superb radio. They used to call this the Earth Station because it's capable of the satellite operations. It's called the Yaesu FT847. It's an all-band, all-mode radio, HF 6 meters, VHF, UHF. Some had 4 meters as well. I think they were the newer versions. All mode, as I say, and crossband operations for satellites. Beautiful radio. Bit bigger than the 991 actually. Beautiful radio. Doesn't look out of place in a shack. Okay, another great radio. This is, in my opinion, it's a bit too big for a car, but do you know what? If you can get away with putting this in your car, you've got a brilliant radio because you've got all of the buttons and the knobs and the dials. I hate menu-driven radios to a large extent, and this crams a lot of buttons. So, yeah, face-off unit, you can have it at the front of your car with the control box under the seat. 200 watts from the HX version. Sorry, the Kenwood 480HX, 100 watts from the SAT version. The SAT version, however, has the antenna tuner built in, whereas the HX doesn't. HF and 6 meters only, all mode, and as I say, you've got the remote head. So, you know, it's a case of deciding what's best for you. This is a brilliant radio. I would not turn my nose up at one of these tomorrow. Bang up to date again with the Icom IC7100. This is a bit different from other radios that have got face-off ability in the way that the head unit was never ever designed to be part of the actual radio. It was always designed to be separate. So this is great because you can hide the gubbins of the radio under your desk and just have this really cool control unit, which is, you know, kind of no bigger than the remote control for your TV, that kind of thing. Beautiful. I haven't used one of these, honestly. I'm really looking forward to using one. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters. I think also 4 meters as well. VHF, UHF. You can also do remote operations on this as well through the internet, so I believe. This has to be one of my favourites because it was the first radio that I had, the Yaesu FT450D. I love the 450. 100 watts, HF, 6 meters, internal antenna tuner if you go for one of those two models. Okay, now we're going back a few years, but a radio that just could not ever not be on this list. It's the favourite of so many people, and I've never owned one of these. I've come that close to owning one, but for some reason I never ever have, and I know one day I will buy one. The Yaesu FT897. It's amazing. It's all band, all mode, 100 watts. You've got the ability to put batteries into it, so you can actually treat it as a portable radio. It's got a carrying handle, and it feels like it's built out of tanks. You feel that if you drop it, it's not going to break. You've also got the ability to strap on a power supply underneath it, which is relatively thin, and it turns the radio into more of a shack radio, so you can literally just plug it straight into the wall socket, which is brilliant. It hasn't got an internal tuner, but what it has got, a couple of companies, the LDG for instance, have made an external box that goes onto the side of the radio and makes it kind of like an integral part of the radio. Next up, my favourite. I'll give you a link up here to the video that I did a few weeks ago, basically describing the FT857 as my favourite radio ever. If I could only own one radio, it would be this, the Yaesu FT857, 100 watts, all band, all mode, face-off radio, and I have this permanently mounted in my van, and also I can take it out within 10 minutes and carry it up a hill. And I used it portable so many times. I love this radio. Okay, again, bang up to date, currently available, the Yaesu FTM100DR. A little bit different. This is VHF and UHF only, FM and Yaesu's System Fusion, which is C4FM digital, 50 watts, GPS, APRS, Bluetooth optional, brilliant for using in the car, hands-free, and that remote head unit again, so you can mount the head unit at the front of the car and have the main gubbins of the radio under your seat. Brilliant radio. There is a bigger radio version of that called the FTM400 as well. I'm not so keen on that, to be totally honest. It's bigger, but anyway, you have a look at it. In direct comparison, to a certain extent, to the FTM100 is this, the Icom IC2730E, 50 watts, VHF, UHF, FM only, face-off, built-in Bluetooth. Again, brilliant for the car. I would have one, happily. If it's mobile HF that you're looking for, then maybe this is the answer. This is the Yaesu FT891. Again, it's a face-off unit, a remote head unit, 100 watts, HF, 6 meters only, all mode, brilliant for in the car if what you're looking for is mobile HF. Okay. Again, that's a bang up to date radio. Now, this last one's a bit of a curveball actually, because it doesn't really fit in with the rest of them, but I included it because I've got one and I use it here in the shack as my go-to 2-meter FM radio. Sometimes you just want to switch the radio on, turn the squelch down and use it. And that's what this radio does. It's the Yaesu FT2900R. It's capable of a massive 75 watts, 144 megahertz only on FM only, that's it. Plug and play. You feel like this radio will never ever let you down. And the good thing is if you run it on maximum power for 5 minutes, you can cook your breakfast on the top because it gets so hot. I've used one of these portable so many times using LiFePO4 batteries. Absolutely brilliant radio. Another brilliant radio which everybody loves is the Yaesu FT817, or the new version which is the 818. Capable of 5 watts if it's the 857 or 6 watts if it's the 818. All band, all mode, HF, 6 meters, VHF, UHF, SSB, FM, AM, CW, you name it, this does it. You put batteries into it and then you recharge the batteries. I did a video about using IKEA batteries. I'll link those up here. And it's a portable radio. So this is QRP. This is the whole essence of QRP radio. If you like QRP, this absolutely could be the radio for you. Okay, so in terms of radios, as you and I probably would picture a radio, that's about it. That's my list. However, there's 2 more to show you. And the reason why I'm showing you these is because if you've watched some of my videos, you will know that I love SDR, software defined radio, and you'll know that I'm a massive fan of the Flex radio. So anyway, I've got a Flex 5000 today. I used to have a Flex 3000. And these are boxes, okay? They are a bit like the Tower PC box that you might have under your desk. The older Flexes, the 1500, the 3000 and the 5000, use a piece of software called Power SDR, which is free of charge. And literally you get all of the functionality on the screen in terms of changing the band, altering the band pass, moving the VFO, the volume, squelch, power, everything. Everything is done using your mouse and the keyboard. And I love it, okay? I've owned the 3000 and the 5000, absolutely brilliant. The new version is called the 6000 series, and there's a few different models within the range with differences which I won't bore you with now. Now, very, very similar. You've got the band display on the screen and the waterfall and all that kind of stuff. But this time you're using a different piece of software called Smart SDR. And the beauty of the 6000 series is, number one, they're really easy to remote use. So literally you could be on holiday, lying on the beach with your iPad, moving the band pass up and down and changing bands and moving the VFO on your radio back at home, even to the extent where you can, using different web apps, you can move the rotator, turn on and off the amplifier, all that kind of stuff. Now what you can also see here is a little device called a Maestro. This can be bought additionally to a Flex, and literally it sits on your desk and it gives you that VFO knob that you're used to seeing and lots of buttons. So effectively this becomes like the remote head unit to your radio. It's not necessarily for everybody. There are people out there that like the traditional way of doing radio. This is absolutely cutting edge. This is bang up to date. And you see a lot more radios coming out now, like the FTDX101D, where they talk about them being SDRs, okay? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's only my impression, and I'm sure that you'll have your own preferences and really good reasons why you prefer those radios to any of the ones that I've listed here. I'd love to hear them. Please give me your input on the feedback below. Tell me what you like. Tell me why you like it. I can then go off and look at it, and you never know. You may even point me in the direction of something that I'll add to my list, or even, you never know, switch to. So anyway, appreciate your time. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free and have a think about subscribing. You can do that just literally by clicking the subscribe button down here. It helps to encourage me to go ahead and make more videos. And I do this for fun. That's the only reason I do it. So thank you very much for your support. If you have liked the video, again, there's a little button down there that has got a little thumb. And if you click that, that will show me that you enjoyed it. Anyway, sorry it's dragged on a little bit. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye for now.